Welcome to Spare Parts, you guys. Hi, Evan.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. I feel good. We had the first snow in Toronto today.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was magical.
That's nice. A lot or just like a little dusting?
Just enough. Just just big snowflakes, like cartoonishly large snowflakes hitting the windscreen of my Jeep. And I'm like, it was perfect.
That's great. I'm excited for the snow to come here. It doesn't really come usually ever, usually after Christmas, which is kind of sad because I do like it when it's snowy around Christmas, but it's still early days, so we still have time.
You'll get a day or two of snow. I mean, when it does come, though, doesn't everyone panic and freak out because there's never any snow?
Yeah, the whole city shuts down. School is canceled. Yeah, I live on the west coast of Canada for anyone who isn't familiar. And we just don't really experience winter in the same way as everybody else. We're like the babies of Canada, if that makes sense.
That's a really good way of describing you guys.
Yeah.
Babies of Canada. Little, stinky little babies.
Fragile, precious.
Yep.
Whining.
Just such big whiners. You and Tyler, oh my God. It was like, oh boy. Don't get me started.
And shooting in Sudbury, we did a couple of winter seasons and it was like, I could not cope. I lived in Toronto, so you'd think I would be acclimatized, but I wasn't at all ever. It never happened for me. I had the North Face down to my feet that I wore every day for 6 months straight. And I was just, it's part of the reason why I had to move home because I just could not deal with the weather.
I didn't know that's what it was. Oh, I thought Toronto just ran you out. I thought you were done with your time here. I didn't realize it was weather related.
Mostly that.
Yeah.
Weather was definitely on the cons list. I do not like the East Coast weather. No offense.
It didn't help that on Letterkenny, you were also not necessarily wearing the best winter attire.
Well, I mean,
other than the ski sled episode,
right? Because it was still tight clothing, which isn't. You need a little bit of baggy so that you can get some body heat going.
We shouldn't be able to tell that you're Michelle Milette when it's the winter. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You should look exactly the same as K-Trev. You guys should have the exact same silhouette.
I agree.
It's just a bundle, just a pile. Yeah.
Yeah. But there you go. No, it's very nice to live out west and not have to deal with that anymore, I have to say.
Hey, you say that now, but if you came down here and you saw the snow that I saw and you had the hot chocolate in my hand like I had, oh boy.
You had a hot chocolate?
I'm obsessed with hot chocolate now. I'm having one a day.
Really?
Yeah, for real.
Okay, I'm also hyper fixating on a drink, but mine's a completely
Matcha?
Opposite. No, it couldn't be more opposite than what you just said. Mine is raspberry bubbly and a little bit of lemonade.
Huh?
I know. It's a summer drink. I understand, but I'm having it right now.
Whoa, wait, a real lemonade or a...
Yeah, store-bought organic. Sorry, but that's just what I'm drinking. And then just, the bubbly water that you can get anywhere.
Wow, raspberry lemonade. Are you sure you should be divulging this information or should we patent this and make it a drink that you sell?
That's so true. That could be the spare parts drink.
Yeah, we
need
a
hot chocolate.
And a hot chocolate.
They pair beautifully together.
Yeah, they do, I bet. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I bet they do.
Yeah, no, I'm having one every day. I'm averaging at least one a day, sometimes two a day.
That's really lovely. I feel like both you and I are kind of on a non-drinking, non-coffee kind of thing right now, right? You're also not really doing coffee?
I'll have usually a coffee a day, but I'm not having more than one coffee. And then I haven't had a drink in 2 weeks. And I was actually just in Palm Springs with my family, which, we can talk about it, sure. But I didn't drink at all when I was there. I'm not a big drinker, but I had 2 cocktails last night.
And you were, I bet, just loopy.
I was loopy. I was sloshing my words, getting into fights.
just pushing up on everybody. Hey, bud.
Yeah. Getting really aggressive. No, but it did hit kind of hard. But they were great cocktails. It was worth it. It was fun. Went out with a couple friends.
That's nice.
This little pub close by. Yeah, it was nice.
Oh, that's one of my also favorite things about the winter is cozying up in a pub with a pint or a cocktail, snow coming down outside. I've got an espresso martini. Oof, get out of here.
It's so nice.
Get out of here. And I'm I just haven't had a drink in almost a month now. So I'm the lightest weight I've ever been in my life. If I had a cocktail right now, I would be wasted.
Yeah. That's kind of a nice place to be because then you can enjoy your one cocktail and be like, okay, that's plenty. I have a little buzz.
I'm worried. I haven't not drank this long since I started drinking when I was 18 years old. I'm 35. I've never gone more than a week.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, but drinking isn't obviously a problem for you But is this because you're getting inquisitive about your health?
Pretty much. Like, I've had a lot of headaches recently, and I've had a lot of like just dizziness and whatnot. And I've been like, what is going on? So I cut out just everything. I'm like, let's go back to basics. You know, you're 35 now, Evan. Let's reset. So I cut coffee, which is crazy because I was on 5 coffees a day. Now I'm on 0 for a month again. No alcohol.
Wow.
I've been going to bed before midnight.
That's huge.
I know.
Because usually you're averaging 4 a.m.?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. I'm a different man right now.
That's great.
But I am drinking a hot chocolate every day, so I'm a little boy. But
well, you need a little sugar. That's why I have my little lemonade. It's nice. It's a little treat. Are your headaches improving?
You know what? I think they kind of are. I actually had a really I did an MRI 2 nights ago.
Whoa.
It was really interesting. I'd never done one before. I was so worried about it because all the things that I thought about MRIs, I was like, oh, you go into this tube and they like close it on you like it's a coffin. It's not like that at all. Maybe it's just like modern MRIs are different from what they were in movies in the 90s, but you still have to lie still for 20 minutes. Like you can't move, which is a little bit, I felt like I was being sort of tortured. I'm like, okay, wow, you really can't. They'll have to start again if you move at all. Right. So, but it's quite open. It's quite spacious. It's very white. It's very bright, but it's so loud.
Oh.
It's like way louder than you think. You have earplugs and then noise canceling headphones on. Because if you didn't have those on, it would 100% damage your hearing.
Crazy. How long are you in there?
20 minutes, and the magnets are just going, and they're like changing, and the noises are changing. It's really alarming, but it was cool. They saw inside my brain. They did a scan of my freaking brain.
That's very cool. I mean, thank goodness we have these tests.
I know, and in Canada, it's free.
I know. Well, I mean, we pay for it through taxes, of course, but it's so worth it.
This thing would have been like a $4,000 experience. This is a $100 million machine that they're like, Evan Stern could go in it. I'm like, who am I? I'm just a little guy. Sure, I'll go in this $100 million machine.
We're so lucky in Canada.
Yeah.
But so you're just sort of waiting for results.
Yeah, we'll see in a week. We'll probably know more and whatnot. But at the same time, I'm like, even just doing that sort of stuff, it just makes you feel better to take precautions, do the things you need to do, cut out the things in your life that maybe are, you've taken for granted or maybe cause a little bit of harm, but you don't really think about it all. Like, I love drinking. I love just drinking every night a little bit. I'm not crazy. I'm not excessive, but like 1 or 2 drinks, I could do that every night of the week, no problem.
Right.
So even though that's not like a wild drinking problem of any kind, it's not great. Like a doctor's like, that's not the best you could treat yourself.
Yeah, I mean, any alcohol isn't good for you, ultimately.
Yeah.
Do you ever listen to The Daily? It's a New York Times podcast.
No.
They brought in this doctor who was like studying alcohol because over time there's been so many different ideas on if alcohol is good for you or not. So for a while there, it's like a glass of red wine is really good for you. And now we're in this phase where it's like poison and there's a lot of fear around it. And she was just kind of saying, as far as like if you're a heavy drinker, and by heavy, she's saying like maybe 1 drink a night, relatively per night, 7 days a week.
Right.
Whether you're doing that spaced out or like once a week you're having 7 drinks, that's a pretty like decent amount of alcohol in your system. She said it only takes off a couple years of your life in comparison to somebody who doesn't drink at all. This is one doctor.
Right.
I didn't look over the data.
I can't even tell if this is like a good thing or a bad thing. Are you saying like it's fine to drink, or are you saying that like you shouldn't because it takes off a couple years of your life?
I'm saying that like
where do you land?
It's not like
it's not a cocaine addiction.
Correct. And I think there is a lot of fear around it. I feel better when I don't drink, so that's what I follow. I don't think that it's good for sleep. I don't think that it's good for your nervous system. It prematurely ages you more quickly. All of those things I don't want, so I avoid it quite often.
But the occasional drink,
I'm not going to freak out about it, and I'm not going to punish myself.
It's fun when it's occasional.
Yeah.
Like, how much more fun is it though when you don't drink all the time and then you have your 2 drinks with your friends? You're like,
exactly.
I'm going to play with my cat and I'm going to call an ex-boyfriend. Like, you're just a crazy person all of a sudden. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's really fun, and it's a nice treat, and I think everything in moderation. Well, not everything, but this alcohol moderation. And she just kind of took away a lot of the shaming and fear. And she was like, look, everybody is different, of course, but this is what the data tells us.
Totally.
Over, the last 30 years. So
I think you and I are acutely aware of it though, too. Like, I have alcoholism in my family for sure.
Yeah.
I'm very aware of like where things can go. And I know you and I don't have those specific issues, but you and I are also hyper aware of our health.
Yeah.
Like I think you and I both do that thing where we're like, well, what's that? What's this lump?
You mean being a hypochondriac?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, also, I mean, I'm Irish and Eastern European. So like the alcohol lineage is coming at me from both sides. So I do have to be aware of it, I think. So it's good. It's good also that you know that you can just take a break and you're not like tortured by it.
Oh, I had no idea. Well, I do. I'm not going to lie to you. I do think about it a lot. I didn't even know I was going to be this aware of it. But like throughout the last month, I've been like, man, a beer would be amazing right now. And I've been drinking a lot of non-alcoholic beer. Which
is like, who could tell?
No.
It's the same thing. Like a Heineken Zero. Wine, I haven't found a non-alcoholic wine that is great.
No way. No, that's too bad.
Because that's what if I'm craving anything, I'm craving a glass of red wine. But I also think part of what I'm craving is like the flush of the cheek, the kind of like, sorry.
The warmth in your tummy. I know exactly the feeling. I know what you're talking about, of course.
Totally.
I also crave that. That with like a bite of steak.
A steak.
I'm like, ooh,
I know.
Like I'm full of, it just makes me excited thinking about it.
Mm-hmm. I know. Yeah. Well, okay, but this is good. And also the coffee, like 5 a day. That's too many.
And
coffees,
energy drinks.
Evan.
I know.
No wonder you were getting headaches. That's a lot of caffeine.
I know.
So dehydrated.
Oh, I've started drinking water. It's weird. Like, and turns out Fiji, like I really like Fiji water. I don't know why,
Please
just the flavor of it. It's so good. It's so smooth. I think it's in a volcano they get this water. Pretty sure. That's what they say. Speaking of alcohol though, this is something that is a perfect transition into the Letterkenny episode.
Yes.
I realized this whole episode is about them taking shots and drinking at the bar.
Yeah, it's like a drinking hookup culture crammed into one episode, Letterkenny style.
Absolutely.
It's called Wingman Wayne, episode 4 of Letterkenny. And it's interesting because as we discussed last week on Fart Book, we were really nervous about Fart Book being crass and kind of like how we'd respond to it. And I had a more pearl clutchy response to Wingman Wayne.
Absolutely.
Way more than Fart Book, which surprised me.
Yeah, the way that they spoke about just sex in general. Like sexual encounters. I was like, ooh.
I know. It's like, made me feel shy.
Yeah, what? Oh, goodness. And they're at the bar and they're like trying to talk to girls. It's such a specific thing.
Yeah. The story around the Hicks, like the boy Hicks rather, is I guess Wayne, he's had his heart broken. He hasn't really got back out there yet. And this is the week where people from college are coming back home.
Pretty sure that's what they said, yeah.
Yeah, which...
Boys, you should aim higher, but go on.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, okay, there's an energy in the air where people are coming home, they're partying, they're like looking for a little fling. So it's a perfect time to get back out there, in a non-committal way, which is like, fair enough. Yeah, that's great. But the way these boys talk about sex and then the way Gail participates is so... And this is also where we find out that Gail is really wanting to take down Wayne. Sorry for saying take down.
No, say it again.
She really wants to take down Wayne.
It's good. It's good. It's true.
It's true.
And it never lets up, really, for the rest of the show. So
I love that. Jared's like, and all these characters are kind of obsessed with me. I mean, Wayne.
Everyone's in love with me.
Everyone's in love and really wants to have sex with me. So, I mean, sorry, Wayne.
I mean, Wayne. God. Well, I mean, to be honest, if I wrote a show, I think I'd probably put myself in that position too, right? Wayne also, throughout this episode, does the thing where he's letting us know all the terms that go along with how to interact with the women and what the women are doing to let them know that they might be interested in the guys. So we get big eyes.
Big eyes.
We get the squeeze by.
Wait, so big eyes is... I mean, might as well. What are we here for?
Show us the big eyes. It's a podcast. Do it.
Oh, God. But I think you have to be shorter than the guy, where it's like you kind of like look up and you're like, bing, and your eyes look up and it's sort of puppy dog eyes.
See, I thought that you had to be shorter than the guy, but then Wayne does it standing up. And I was like, he does it so well, standing up, looking at nothing, that I'm like, never mind.
Yeah, like, it's for everybody.
It's for everybody, apparently. He proves that. I want him to do big eyes more often in the show. I don't think it ever comes back. It's so good.
Damn. Okay. Yeah, and then the squeeze by, which is like, there's plenty of space, but you're interested in somebody. So when you're at the bar, you go behind them and you press your body against
unnecessary
them.
Squeeze by.
Unnecessary, yeah.
Yeah, which honestly, sometimes in clubs, like people kind of take advantage of the squeeze by and will do like low back touches, things like that.
But I guess what they're saying here is that you can kind of get away with it if it seems like, no, I'm just like walking and I just happen to graze your arm.
And it's college weekend and the boys are back in town. And it's time to, take 40 shots and then talk about hitting on women. There's another one here. What's the last one?
The hair show.
The hair show, buddy.
Yeah, the hair show.
Because it makes you want to touch it.
Because it makes you want to touch it. Yeah. So flicking your hair, obviously. All three things I kind of wish I knew about in my single
You never did those?
Certainly not consciously.
Huh.
I wasn't like, okay, Michelle, big eyes time. Like, that's not.
No?
No.
Oh.
Maybe I didn't have very good game. I think about
maybe
it.
Not. I don't think you have to have very good game, Michelle. Let's be honest. You're out there. You're just doing your thing. You're out there being like, "What's up, bro?" Like, you also. I don't know if people know. Michelle doesn't dress the way she does in Letterkenny. She dresses like me. She dresses like a boy, and she's more of like a cool skater vibe when she's out, I'd say, than anything. So you're not doing like flipping your hair and letting the boys know you're like just there.
I'm just like one of the guys.
Exactly. You're just like
not
a cool.
that. No,
you're just like a
I'm
cool.
not. No,
well,
no.
You hang though. You hang.
I'm not a guy's girl at all.
I didn't say it.
I way prefer the company of women, for the record.
Me too.
And I know. And this is part of the reason why we get along so well. But a tight silhouette has never been something that I, like, in my personal life want to wear. I'm not gravitated towards that. And Letterkenny was so nice for me, actually, because I got to kind of sneakily get away with dressing in this very provocative way where I was like, I don't know, it's not me. It's just Katy.
Just Katy.
Yeah.
The leather bikini.
A leather bikini. I'm like, I don't know. I didn't choose it. Like, I'm totally innocent in all this. I loved the outfits because it was so like outside of what I normally wear. I mean, yeah, I'm usually wearing.
You're literally wearing a Bill Cosby sweater, for lack of a better term.
I know. Tough term now. Yeah, I got this actually at a consignment store in Palm Springs for $13. My dad picked it out. Yeah.
Good deal. That's new.
Very good
That's
deal.
great. That's a great sweater.
I know. I love it. My dad said it was a 90s like Italian sweater. So like old men in the 90s would wear these sweaters that were like patterned in this way. So
the Marlboro man himself would know. He would know.
He would know. And he's very good at consignment shopping and finding like the most insane things and then buying jewelry at pawn shops. He's like insane. The amount of jewelry he's purchased for me and my stepmom for like next to nothing because he really knows a lot about jewelry. And so he just knows what to look for and what's real and what isn't. So he showed me a couple. It's a great
skill in Palm Springs because like there's a lot of old people there.
A lot of estate sales. Oh yeah.
A lot of people who wear jangly gold too. Like it's like Palm Springs is like gold wristwatches and just like.
It's a strange vibe. I do love it. I've been going down there since I was like 11.
I didn't know that. I didn't know you had such a relationship with Palm Springs. I think it's a great place. It's really unique.
Yeah. Yeah. My parents love to go and they'll go for 2 months at a time, 3 times a year. And it's gotten progressively longer as they get older. But yeah, it's just like, I wouldn't say it's a second home for me, but I've been going so much that I'm so familiar with it and I have my little routine there. And
it's not very big. Like you can kind of do the whole thing. So you know the whole town.
There's nothing to do.
Well, like, the Ace Hotel is cool.
The Ace Hotel is cool. Actually, the time before when I was there with Connor, we went to like a really cool, some kids from LA that are like really good jazz musicians were playing. And it was so nice.
That's so sick.
It was so nice.
The pool is so good there. Like the whole vibe.
It's so good. The drinks are great. Speaking of alcohol, great spicy margarita at the
That's where you want to have a drink. Is you go to a hotel and you see a jazz band, you have a martini.
And you have a martini.
Like that's pretty nice. What are we even doing here? Let's go get a martini. Let's go get a martini.
I know. I wish you could come to. I'm throwing a holiday party, and I have this like thing in my head where I want to have a really dirty gin martini with blue cheese stuffed olives that I'm going to stuff myself. Are you into like a savory, stinky kind of meal? Is that a thing for you?
love a savory, like I love that martini. I will eat that martini. I'm not a big blue cheese guy at all, but the right blue cheese and the right element, like in an olive, in a martini, that can work.
I see. I think it's soaking in the alcohol and then it's like you have a sip and then you have a bite. I think it's going to be, again, another drink fixation where I'm like, I haven't had it yet, but I think about it a lot.
I get obsessed with when I'm going to have a holiday party or something. I get obsessed with what cocktails I'm going to make. And I pre-make some. I do everything. And we're actually having a holiday party at the studio as well.
Oh, fun.
So that'll be fun.
That's really fun. God, we're so in sync. Okay, should we get back to Wingman Wayne?
Yeah, sure. Wingman Wayne. Oh, your hair in the episode. Can we please talk about it?
Yeah, let's talk about it. Okay, let's talk about Katy's look in general in season 1. So here's the thing. So
why is it so flat? So no offense. Your head. I've never seen your hair look like that in real life ever.
I know.
It's pin straight. It is like,
it's crazy.
It's like an ironing board straight.
Yeah. So I think, okay. So season 1, I don't think we really knew what we were going for in the look. And I take full responsibility because I didn't know anything about hair and makeup, especially on camera. And I was like, I do want her to look like a small town, quote unquote, hot girl, meaning she's not going to have perfectly blended contour and like her hair in a gentle wave that we always see on camera. That's like a little bit too manicured. I want her to be have too thick of eyeliner that's not super flattering, a bit too much of like a hard line bronzer that's sitting lower on her face. I wanted the pinstripe hair that doesn't get retouched or sprayed. Like I wanted her to look real, and it was such a mistake. And for anyone listening, you're on a TV show. So just like, it's not a documentary. Like you want to look good, especially when you're going to do a rewatch podcast, because now I have to watch myself and go, Jesus.
That's not your fault. You were trying to do something. You were trying to do something, and I totally get what you were trying to do. I think it's a cool idea, but it's not. We weren't making misfits.
Correct.
So the camera wasn't up in your face. It wasn't, it's like a static shot of you from 20 feet away.
Right.
It's just no shape to your hair.
It doesn't even move. Like
it doesn't do your hair. It's not TV makeup. It's not TV hair.
No. And I also think because season 1, which we've discussed before, we had no budget. So it's like we had, 1 or 2 hair and makeup people, and then they'd get you ready in the morning and then you'd go to set all day, and we didn't have a lot of time or the resources for touch-ups and things like that. I could have, it's completely on me, I could have done my own touch-ups and kind of been a little bit more in control, but I wanted her to feel like a true small town girl who wasn't a manicured city girl. And that was kind of important to me. And I think we found the sweet spot where it's like, she was always kind of a little bit off aesthetically, but we kind of, we found our rhythm with her look. And the hair, the pin straight hair, the flat ironed hair that they would do on me in season 1 was, I think we dropped that pretty quick.
Yeah, it got a lot better through the show. Like your hair looked normal through by the end, I'm sure you have like a balayage or something. Like it's not even
okay, balayage.
Like it's not the same. It's not the same. But
no.
You tried something.
Yeah.
I get it. It's cool. You're an actor. You're like taking swings. You're like, this is a big opportunity. I want to like do something cool with this. Make it real.
I think I was also hyper aware of playing the hot girl trope of the show and it being a little bit too like on the nose. And I kind of was like, I think I even pitched in the beginning having like a really kind of over the top belly ring with like a dangly.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so, yeah, I get that.
And they were like, no.
But it's so small town. Like the hottest girl in the small town has this big ass belly ring with a dangler. Oh.
I kind of wanted that, or like a tramp stamp, or like I sort of pitched a couple things where I was like, I just don't want her to look. And there are certain scenes where, like, I think this episode in particular, the hair is really bad. But there's other moments in the season where I'm like, okay, like, thank goodness for hair and makeup for doing me right. But there are moments where I'm also like, I look like garbage.
No, but you did the same thing they did on The Office, right? First season of The Office, when they did the American version, they didn't let there be hair and makeup. And like Jenna Fisher brought her own hair and makeup and was trying to make herself look better on her own because they wanted them to look like real office workers. So it's so drab and everyone looks kind of like shit. Like you were trying to do the same thing. But again, it's a highly stylized show we were doing with like static shots that make it look more of like, it's almost like more of like a play in a cartoon than a documentary, you know? It's very
And also I was hired to play a hot girl in town. So the objective is to like look good. Also, I think in this episode, the scene where the boys are running back and forth and I'm standing there smoking, that's the first scene I ever shot. And I remember it because I was...
Really?
Yeah, because I was like trembling a little bit because it was like first day on set. And then after we shot that scene...
smoking.
And I'm
in
smoking.
The first scene, you don't smoke. Oh my gosh.
Smoke, yeah. And I'm so pale and they didn't tan me. So there's also like a little bit of the continuity makeup and hair wise is quite off in this episode, I noticed, because it's some of the first stuff we shot and we haven't found my look. So I'm not tanned yet.
You're
I don't
not
even
farm
think
girl. You're
no,
like
I wasn't
out of
even
the
wearing
sun.
foundation. I was like, the hair seems as though it hasn't been combed yet even. Like it was a bit, and then we didn't have a chance to reshoot because again, no budget. So
such a great scene though, to be honest. Like I didn't notice any of those things and I'm sure no one else notices those but you. Cause like that was a hilarious scene. The boys were so funny. You look so confident standing there. Just smoke. Was it a joint you were smoking? Is that the idea? Was it a cigarette?
I think it's a cigarette, yeah.
It's a cigarette? Wow. Was it a real cigarette?
I think so. No. It was always those cloved cigarettes where it like
for
feels
you.
So, yeah, for me. Oh, yeah. For people that don't know, the boys are actually smoking those cigarettes and it's like take after take, they're smoking. I've never been on a set where the crew and most of the cast smokes. Like actors don't smoke cigarettes. That's insane.
No, because your skin's got to look good for the rest of your life because that's your job.
That's your whole entire job or else you'll never work again.
Yeah, so these boys are hacking darts and there's a barrel in the middle of set to throw your cigarettes in, like a full keg barrel.
Yeah.
And there's also a truck filled with cartons of cigarettes. And that's like most of the prop budget on the show.
Yeah, it's really wild. And we obviously just get used to it. And then when we'd have new actors come to set, they're like, whoa, the first AD just called for a collective smoke break. I've never seen, like, what is this, the 70s? This is crazy.
Yeah, for real. And then the other thing about it is, though, everyone assumes that the alcohol is real too, but that is in no way real.
No, that would be illegal.
When they're taking shots, beers, none of that is real. So that's all like either apple juice that's watered down or dyed or iced tea sometimes. Depends on what people want, essentially. Because you have to do the shots a lot, especially in this episode. The boys are doing the tink. It's a lot of non-real alcohol.
Yeah, so to get back to Wingman Wayne, I guess the sort of aside thing is the boys, the hockey boys, are trying to get Katy. They're like a little sad that she's not supporting them and coming to their games. So they pitch it to her and they're really excited and, you know, they want to have their girl there cheering her on. She finally shows up. She has a curly hair, bit of a wave, thank God. She put in some effort.
She's got her beach wave
She's got her beach wave. And then we're introduced to Shorzy. For the first time. And he starts saying some kind of like inappropriate things, giving Katy a lot of attention. And of course, hockey boys decide that they don't, in fact, like that. It's not worth it. Hurts their
meeting
feelings.
Shorzy is great. And meeting the chirping. This is like the first time you see the boys chirping as well. They chirp that guy Tutu.
And then the ass wash.
Yeah, and the ass wash push-ups. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Like, amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure anyone listening knows Jared plays Shorzy. And so good on him for being like, oh, okay.
Wait, what?
I know, huge breaking news. You would never know.
Holy shit.
But good on him for being like, okay, if I'm going to ask these boys to have their butts out, my butt is going to be out and upside down.
Really impressive work there, actually.
Yeah, what an athlete, hey?
What an athlete. What an athlete. Sorry. And there's also the iconic story that Dylan tells this story sometimes about how they had to wear these socks over top of their manhood. In order to, that's what you wear. It's called a cock sock, I think they call it on set, which seems like there should be a better word for it, a better term. But the water's pouring down and his started to get filled like crazy and started to dangle like to his knees.
No.
And Jacob was like, whoa, Dylan, like, this thing's huge. We have to cut. Like, it's way too. And Dylan's like, no, it's just filled with water.
Oh my God.
It's like this whole thing. That was that scene. So they had a couple of go-rounds with that scene because they couldn't figure out how to get water to hit them without, because you don't want to just be completely naked on set. That's not really not the vibe. That's not what
it's not the vibe. Yeah. Yeah.
This isn't
big
actually
ask.
Jackass. This isn't like, we're still actors. Everybody's still just, trying to have some modesty.
A little. Yeah. That scene's fun. Wait, are you guys in this episode?
No.
The skids?
It's the only episode that the skids just literally aren't even in. We don't even have a moment in this episode.
Right, because you guys don't have sex, ultimately, I guess is the point. Is
Whoa.
You talk about it a lot, but I'm not sure you're actually having it.
Wait a second here.
I don't know.
We'll see.
Seems
later in the
suspicious.
seasons, it starts to...
Yeah, you guys are killing it.
Turn up a bit.
Okay. Yeah, but I guess the thing with this episode is it's kind of cute because they're doing the classic like guy talk where it's like, yeah, like we're gonna, but really they just want to hang
I'd like
out
to hear
with
more of
each
that.
other.
What's the classic guy talk? Let's hear it.
Well,
what are we gonna do?
What
are we gonna do, Michelle?
Like just like saying gross things, like when Dan says he has like tuna in his dick hole. I'm so sorry I had to say that, but Evan forced it out of me. Things like that, like just kind of the grossest of the gross boy talk. And I kind of realized I was like, oh, the priority to be with a woman for them is kind of actually low on the list.
They just want to talk about
drink
being with women.
and talk to each other.
Yeah.
And even when Jared or Wayne finally gets like this girl's looking at him and wants to take him into the bathroom to, I guess, have sex in a toilet stall? Question mark.
Ew.
He's like, all right, I got to do this. And he walks over and he's about to go in. And then he sees on the door, there's like a sign-in sheet and his ex-girlfriend's name is there. And he realizes that he's just not ready. But I don't think he even wanted to do it in general. I think he was looking for any out. That's my read.
Because Wayne's a smart guy. And I think he knows sex in bathrooms, sex in showers, not worth the trouble.
A lot of bacteria.
I'm sorry. Not as fun as you think it's going to be. Like, where do you put anything? Where do you get leverage? Everything's just, none of it makes sense. I'm sorry. Hard surfaces.
You're so right, Evan.
You're
like the idea of it. Well, yeah, not a public, but yeah, even like a shower sex situation. You're like,
sounds good, but
sounds really cool, but
happens in movies all the time. Like they start hooking up, and I'm like, you guys aren't actually gonna like. This isn't.
You're just kissing.
You're just kissing. You can kiss in there.
You just have some kiss.
You do some kissing in the shower. That's really nice. But then anything more, you're like, come on, what are we
trying to prove here?
What's going on here? Yeah. It's a
Too slippery.
We together for like a week? Like, come on.
Yeah. Trying to impress.
It's some early really relationship crazy stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's make out in a car. It's like, no, cars are horrible. It's so cramped. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I'm 5'6", and I think a car is cramped. No one should be having sex in
Nobody.
cars. Sorry.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
But again, the idea of it, pretty fun, pretty
so
cool.
So hot. What a hot idea. Oh my God. Every movie ever. Like the handprint in Titanic. Mm-hmm. So hot.
Formative, in fact.
Realistically, that car sex was probably terrible.
Yeah, it was. Nobody really got what they needed fully from that.
Model T car sex is probably even worse too. Like the seats are made of, camel or something. I don't know.
Yeah, so it's a cute kind of sexy / completely non-sexy episode that I think is really just about the kind of intimate relationships you have with boys, and I'm sure Jared would be really happy that I said that.
Yeah, it's some it's locker room talk, but with Gail.
Totally.
They're all just shooting the shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a fun episode. It was really gross, caught me off guard in a way that Fart Book didn't, weirdly, which again was surprising. But
yeah, because Fart Book is about farts, which on the surface seems pretty gross. And you're like, ew, do I have to really hear about farts for the next 30 minutes? But then having Gail say, you're going to go home and make a bald man puke. But that's way worse.
That's way worse. That's a visual.
It's a visual.
Yeah. On that note, should we get into Spare Hearts?
Please, for God's sakes, take us away from Wingman Wayne. Good Lord.
Do you want to get
this
a hot chocolate? This
show's going to be rough for us. Yeah, let's get a hot chocolate.
Okay. So again, thank you guys for sending your questions in. It's so fun for me. Like I've said before, I love this segment. People are enjoying the segment as well.
Oh, yeah. The reviews on Apple and all the messages we've been getting about Spare Hearts, people love Spare Hearts. I'm delighted because we love it.
Well, it's so fun for us. But yeah, and thank you also to everyone who's been rating and leaving comments. Like, and I know we've been mentioning, we can't stop mentioning it, but like, it's so nice and helps us so much. So very appreciated.
Especially at the beginning here. Like, I'm checking it out. We've got like so many ratings on Spotify and Apple. And you know what? If you've even rated it on one, rate it on the other if you feel like it.
Yeah. If you feel like it.
If you feel like it.
Why not?
Because it really helps us. We're in the trending category. We're in the new TV comedy category right now. So the podcast is getting some eyes on it, which is very exciting and means that Michelle and I can do this on a larger scale perhaps in the future, and things might change a little bit. So
which would be so cool and exciting. So
cool
so
we're
really stoked, and we're all in this. I feel we're all very much in this together. One does not exist without the other. So thank you guys so much for listening. It's very nice.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, Spare Hearts. The title, this person put in a title, which is fun, is I'm obsessed with my ex's new girlfriend.
Oof.
The blood just drained out of my head and it's now in my feet. Okay. Hi, Michelle and Evan. I love Letterkenny so much and was so excited for a rewatch podcast. Thanks for taking care of us fans. Pitter patter.
Let's get at her.
Let's get at her. I'll call myself Sam, and I'm a 26-year-old living in Calgary. I was dating a guy for almost a year and a half, but he broke it off a few months ago because he didn't see it going long term. I was hurt because I love him, but we run in the same circle and I wanted to stay friends. He's recently started dating a new girl, my total opposite, to be honest. I haven't met her in person yet, but I obviously started creeping her to get intel. It's become a part of my online routine at this point, and I feel like I'm starting to compare myself to her constantly, and I'm feeling really bad about myself now. I know better. I know it's toxic, but I can't stop. I don't want to block her in case she finds out, but maybe I should, or will this pass? I feel dumb. And 3 exclamation points. And eventually I'll have to be around her, so it's stressing me out. I even dream about her sometimes. What the hell? Let me know how to get over this. I'm going crazy.
Sam, I love this question.
This is so human.
It's so human. It's really well worded too. No judgment. Are you kidding me? No judgment. We've all been there.
Exactly. Because for girls, I don't know why we compare ourselves so often. And maybe guys do this too, but they just like don't talk about it. Or I don't talk about it with guys. But there's such a like you said, like this toxic energy of being like, am I enough in comparison to this other woman? And I guess we've all been really socialized to engage with other women in this way. And it's something we all have to unlearn at a certain point, but it's really hard. And jealousy is a very normal human emotion. Yeah.
And a lot of this is exacerbated 10 times by social media. You've never even met this person in real life. You know what I mean? Like maybe the second you meet this person, you won't feel competition with them. Maybe that's not actually what's happening. It's more like the social media facade, this idea of this perfect person, the pedestalization of her that makes you feel, valueless, which is so sad and so hard to deal with. It's really, a lot of us have an issue with social media at this point.
Oh yeah. And I just want to say to anyone, like, everybody sucks. Like social media is like complete bullshit. Like we all are boring and we all sometimes suck. And it's like there's nobody who's just like absolutely killing it all the time. Like,
were you doing Cara Delevingne there? Are you?
I don't know what that was.
She's pretty cool on the internet.
Yeah, she's pretty cool.
But you're right. We all suck a little bit all the time.
Yeah, totally.
And that's good.
But then we're not showing it, obviously. And it's like, I think we can build up somebody based on what they're putting out there. Yeah. And we create these like stories in our head that become so not even about the other person. It's just like your own projection of like what you feel you're lacking. Exactly. Yeah. So again, very human, very understandable. So she doesn't want to block. Because I've so been there where you're like, I'm just going to like check in on this person. Sure. And then you start to feel like almost they're a part of your life in this weird way. And it sometimes transitions out of being toxic and more just like, kind of like, I love that girl. What's she up to? Who's she dating these days? Like it's
like
kind
of past the time that this person's broken up with your ex-boyfriend. It's like you just still follow her. She's more interesting than your ex-boyfriend ever was.
Well, you become committed to their story and like their friend group. And I've heard this a lot. I actually have you ever listened to the podcast called Doll Space? It's with Sam Dahl and Annie Clark.
She's very funny. Annie Clark is great too. Oh my God. Degrassi, let's go.
Yeah. So I know Sam and I feel like I know Annie. We're like social media friends.
I know Annie's ex-boyfriend.
Oh, crazy.
From Queen's University. I know. She came to see some Queen's shows back in the day. I met her like 15 years ago.
Oh, that's cute. She seems great.
She's cool.
I feel like she's a friend of mine. I don't know why. But Sam is, even though we've only met in person once, but so they've got this great podcast where they, it's like you just feel like you're hanging out with friends. It's really a great listen. So check it out. But they were talking about this exact thing where Sam has this ex-boyfriend Sam is married and expecting a baby, but she has this ex-boyfriend from like 10 or 12 years ago. It doesn't matter.
She's still creeping on this one.
Literally. Yeah. And she got, I guess, left for, like, her ex-boyfriend left her for this other girl. So it's like a big heartbreak. And then she became obsessed with this other girl. And she's still like, she likes to check in on her, but she's been given, or the opportunity's been taken away from her because I guess this ex has recently blocked Sam.
Well, I will say Sam's pretty vocal on the internet. She's probably suggested some idea that she's been seeing this person's content publicly, and it's probably gotten back to that person at some point and is like, she's like, no. She's like aware. But
Sam said the funniest thing though. She's like, why would you do that to me? Like, let me peek. Just let me take a peek. I just want to peek.
Yeah, it's totally valid.
But yeah, so like none of us are immune to this. You're not weird. Have you ever been in this situation, Evan, where you're a little bit like fascinated?
Are you kidding me? Of course. I think part of the biggest issue with all this is that as soon as you become even a little bit interested in a person's social media presence, the algorithm feeds you more of it. So it's not like, even if I'm like, my Evan brain is like, I shouldn't be doing this. The lizard brain part of me, if it clicks at once, we're fucked. We're going to see it 100 more times. So yeah, I've done this for sure.
That lower cortex that you're like, shut up.
Shut up. No, I definitely, I'm one of those people who, at 4 a.m, just before I'm going to bed, my phone is a half inch from my face and I'm scrolling through the feed. So like I could be seeing any number of things that are not good for my brain, right? And some of that is like people who I'm like, I have no relationship with you. I don't even know who you are to me anymore. Like this is so many years past. For sure, I've done that.
Why am I here? How did I
Why am I so fascinated? Here? Because you become a character in your life. They become like an external character. It's like, oh, what's happening with like that person from that sitcom that was my life 10 years ago?
Totally. And I would like, so she said she's dreaming about this person. Makes sense. Think it's just entered your subconscious now. Yeah. And
this is a phase.
Yeah, this is a phase.
This is a phase.
You're hyper focused on her because you are dealing with heartbreak. And so you've now attached those emotions probably to like some form of self-preservation, honestly, where you're like, I can't feel that heartbreak pain. So now I'm just going to move this to jealousy, which I can at least like live with a little bit more comfortably. Like jealousy sucks, but heartbreak pain is debilitating.
Oh, there's nothing quite like it. Or you're in love with her. Maybe you're in love with her. maybe you haven't addressed that yet. Maybe that's something you need to look into.
Yeah.
You're secretly in love with this person. I don't actually mean this.
Yeah. I mean, anything is possible. We don't know. But yeah, there is like a bit of a like limerence, right? Is like that's not love, but you become kind of infatuated with somebody. Limerence?
I've never heard that term before. Limerence.
I hope I'm
just going to Google it because I've never heard it before and I like learning words.
I'm hoping that I'm not.
A limerence, a state of mind that involves intense romantic obsession with another person, even when they don't reciprocate those feelings. Mm-hmm. Limerence. That's fantastic.
This could be a form of it where it's like, it's not grounded in reality, but you've just become like fixated on this person because especially if she's the total opposite to you. I think women do that with each other sometimes where it's like, I'm kind of obsessed with the way you're living your life in this way that's now almost not romantic, but there's an obsession attached to it because it's so far from me.
Romantic in the other sense, like romantic, like how having a cup of coffee in the morning on the patio is romantic. Like you have this idea.
Fantasy.
It's a fantasy.
Yeah. So, okay. So the question was, what should I do? Should I block her? But I'm afraid to block her because I don't want anyone to find out.
You don't have to block her. Can I offer a suggestion before blocking happens? Because I personally, I think the mute stories is pretty helpful in some ways. When you mute people's stories or mute a person's posts, it's a very subtle difference between blocking because no one will see it. But then also,
but can you mute somebody that you don't follow?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay. Well,
maybe we'll have to double check this, but hopefully, I assume she followed her though.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Either way, I also have the higher, this is in my opinion, the real issue is that probably who have, like we all do, an unhealthy relationship with your phone at the moment. I think working on that, like detachment from your phone will then free you from this obsession with this person. Because I think working on the phone stuff first is really important, especially as a young person. Like you're Gen Z, we're millennial. Like we have had a different experience with phones. And I think we're more acutely aware of what it's like to live without a phone probably than you are. Right. And I know that moving my phone to black and white has been incredibly helpful. As soon as I changed my phone to black and white, Instagram isn't attractive. It just isn't. And I can change it to color whenever I want with 3 taps on the side, but making it black and white. So this is colorful now. 1, 2, 3, it's black and white. Oh, this is where it kind of stays. It really helps me double check, like, do I want to be doing this right now? And that's the big thing is like catching yourself checking this person's profile over and over again, because it's just breaking a habit at this point. You got to break the habit.
It's an addiction. Yeah.
Before you can start to actually figure out what the deeper underlying issue is, which is more to do with like self-esteem and you know, all that stuff.
Yeah. And I'm going to say like a bit of a personal anecdote without giving too much info away. So this person that I won't say who or when, was dating, they had an ex who they had broken up with a few months prior, but was still kind of like in the squad that he, like the circle that he ran in. So my Instagram account is a business Instagram account. And during this period of time, I found out later that there was a little bit of a glitch going on. So when somebody would block and then unblock you would get, for like a 3-week period, you would get a little notification that this person is trying to message you. And then you'd go to your messages and there would be nothing there. And it was like a really short-lived glitch, but it happened to coincide with this time where this ex-girlfriend of the person I was dating was blocking me and then unblocking me and then blocking me and then unblocking me. And so I was getting notified. And again, which is so tough. And
it's nice to know that you're the object of, you know, this person's horrible fantasy, maybe.
This is what I'm saying. It's kind of nice. This is what I'm saying. Like you kind of know, because here's also to the girl that wrote in, Sam, the girl that you're watching, she's also totally aware of you. Mm-hmm. So she's maybe, I don't know if she's as involved on your social media, but she's clicking through to like take a peek at your profile.
Probably
and if she
feeling the exact same way.
Totally.
Comparing herself to you.
Yeah, as I did with this girl. Yeah. And even if it's not like negative, you're just curious, right? So like you don't want her, because I'm also just like, you don't want her to know that you're butthurt about this. So I just like wouldn't never let them see you sweat, babe.
Never let them see you sweat, babe.
You just never. But yeah, I just wouldn't want you to get caught. Like if you can do these other things before you block her, because if you block her, she will know, because she'll have looked for your profile and been like, oh, I can't find it. All of a sudden she blocked me. And then she might feel good about that, which is not what you want.
Well, you also might, like you said, if she runs in the circle and you guys are going to be hanging out with each other going forwards, you want to do as much as you can to be like, address your own feelings rather than, you know.
And I bet you that when you meet this girl, it'll all evaporate, because you'll be like, oh, she's just a person.
She's a human being.
Yeah. And you might still have feelings for this guy. And that's fair enough. And you'll be able to like separate, and time will move on, and then it'll become a non-issue. But I think there's a chance that because you're so fascinated with this girl, like you guys might actually get along in a really nice way. Like I always think that the guys' exes or new girls that they're dating, I'm like, I bet we'd be buddies. I just like feel it.
That's totally fair.
Yeah.
That's funny. Especially because like sometimes people, you know, a lot of times relationships don't end because two people are like bad people. It just didn't work out between you. And like this person is typically attracted to like cool, funny, attractive people. So it's like, yeah, if another cool, funny, attractive person, like, of course you guys might be pals. Like, why not?
And if you're all in the same friend group, it would be nice if you were able to like process your own pain and then be able to move forward. And so that you can like be in social situations and it not feel overwhelming or like triggering at all. Like that's like the best place to be. So I think the black and white phone thing, maybe just remove Instagram off your phone for a bit.
Days, yeah, just see what happens.
Yeah, and just kind of, and you could always like talk to your friends or a therapist or something just to process like maybe where these feelings are coming from a bit further.
But they're also
they're normal.
so common.
Yeah, they're not that big of a deal also.
No, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
You will, Sam, you're going to be fine.
Yeah. And I bet this girl is also feeling like it's so human. I bet it goes both ways to an extent. So just know that, and it will pass.
Yeah, it's going to pass for sure. Time does heal. I mean, it's such a silly thing, but people say it for a reason because it's true. Like every time I've ever been like totally heartbroken or fixated on someone or something, like, and I am the definition of that. Like I was such a romantic. I was so obsessed with people. I'd be like, I put my heart out there all the time, like, for a year. And now I'm married to a person who I'm like, that, like, it's just all figured out now.
Yeah.
Like there's no more, I don't have any more turmoil in my love life, which is to think that there was ever a world where that could be, that I could exist in a world without turmoil in my love life. Non-existent. To past Evan, 24-year-old Evan, 25-year-old Evan.
Yeah.
Who would have been like,
drama.
What's up, Sam? Maybe we should go on a date. I'd have been like, oh my God, like what does Sam want to do on the first date? Like I'd been freaking the fuck out. We would, I'd have been checking your profile hundreds of times.
Yeah. So you'll grow out of it.
You'll grow out of it. And like, again, Sam Dahl, she's married with a kid. She still wants eyes on her ex's new girl. She's so funny,
she's the best. But like, it's human and it's kind of funny, and don't beat yourself up about it because anyone who says that they haven't experienced these feelings is lying.
Yeah. And if they don't experience that, if they actually don't experience those feelings, it's because they're like literally not on social media.
Right. Which is
like,
maybe
that's
smart.
what it is. Like Alana, my wife, legitimately doesn't do this.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
She's just not on there.
She's not on social media. She doesn't care. She doesn't care about anything like that. She doesn't do that. She just wakes up in the morning. She like goes for a walk. She like comes home. She like works out. And then she like goes for a walk with the dog.
Mm-hmm. Something to consider. That is for sure. Social media doesn't bring out our higher selves all the time.
Not all the time.
Not all the time. Sometimes. No,
but
never.
Thanks for watching our social media, you guys.
Yeah.
Michelle
Don't block us. Don't block us, please.
We love posting stupid TikToks.
Yeah.
If you guys have any ideas for silly TikToks for us to post, please send them to us. Always tag us in TikToks. You want us to do dances, please.
Yeah, dances. We love a dance.
Michelle sent me a dance the other day, and my first thought was like, oh, I have to wash my Uggs or else I can't do this dance.
I really want you to do it. I feel like you might get hurt, though. It looks hard.
No, I could do some pinwheels. That's fine.
Wait, is that what that's called? The little drop?
It's called pin drops. Yeah, pin drops.
That looks fun.
Yeah, they're fine. They're fine.
Yeah, they're fine.
I'm 35. Sure, my knees won't be like, oh, I love this, but I'm fine. I'm built
yeah, you'll make it.
I can do my pin drops.
And now that you've like gotten rid of coffee and alcohol, you're stronger than ever. I think that's how that works.
That's an idea. That's a concept.
Okay, well, thank you so much for writing in.
Yeah, thanks. Sam.
We love you. It's going to be fine. You're great. Don't compare yourself to anyone because it's just a losing battle. And
there's only one Sam.
There's
Sam Dahl as well, but there's only one you.
But there's only you, Sam, in Calgary. So just know that it'll pass. Laugh at yourself because it's a bit silly, and it's just like it's gonna be something that you're just like jokes about later. So
you'll laugh about this later for sure. You'll laugh about it when the rodeo comes to town. When the Calgary Stampede comes in, you'll meet a bunch of dudes. You'll be laughing about this by then.
Oh yeah, you'll be line dancing in little shorts in no time.
Yep. Me too. I'll be there too, doing the same. I'll come help you out.
Doing pin drops.
We'll do pin drops. We'll do it together. I've always wanted to go to one of those like barn hoedown style dances. I've never done that.
Well, the Calgary Stampede is the perfect place for you then.
I've never been. Have you been?
Yes.
And that's it. Period. Yes. Period. You have no feelings about the Calgary Stampede. Nothing positive, I guess. You didn't love it? Watch your words here.
I'm worried about alienating fans right now, but I don't like country music. I don't like country music. I don't like it.
At all?
At all. I don't like
You don't like the Labrador hanging out the passenger door.
No.
Hair from a breeze with sand blowing in my eyes. Blame it on the beach. Grown men don't cry.
Is that real?
Strange words come on out of a grown man's mouth when his mind's broke. Pictures and passing time, you only smile like that when you're drinking. You don't know this song?
That cannot be a real song. Those are real lyrics.
It's like the biggest song in the world right now.
That's
Casey Musgraves?
Okay. Casey Musgraves' album, I will say it's beautiful and perfectly produced, but I'm just not, I don't abandon us, guys. This is not Evan's fault. It's my fault.
I like country music. It's okay if Michelle doesn't like it. Stay for me. I can get down Evan. With country music for sure.
Look, there's good music in every genre. I like Dolly Parton, of course.
Except for country
Johnny
music,
Cash,
which fucking sucks to Michelle.
But to go to any sort of big country festival, I'm sorry, but I don't like the energy. I'm sorry.
So you can't just put on a cowboy hat for a night and just let it all hang out and go and do some line dancing and drink some light beer and act like a jackass. Like, you don't feel like that. You could let that freak flag fly, that particular energy. Like, go out with Dylan. Like, Dylan is that.
Yeah. No, I know. And I can do it. I would have a laugh. It's not what I wasn't like lit up by it. Like, the Calgary Stampede is a really cool festival, but it's not my culture.
What about, it's not my culture. It's not mine either, obviously. What about like when we were in Nashville? You came out with us that night when we went out and saw a bunch of different bands. Did you feel it's not as heavy country? It's more kind of like singer-songwriter. There's some more folky elements. Did you have a good night that night? Not really.
Yeah, I had a good night because I was with you guys. But the music that they're playing, I'm always like, I wish. So after the Justin Timberlake show, which can I just say...
Please.
Can I just circle back really quick to episode 1, Justin Timberlake story? Thanks so much for people kind of coming to our defense. I was worried that we were going to come across as really bratty and like ungrateful for the opportunity to go to a show for free. And it's not lost on us that was like a really nice gesture. But I like that you guys understood the dynamic and you just got us right away. It made me feel really reassured about our audience being smart.
Totally. I immediately after that episode, I was like, oh, I hope Jessica Biel doesn't hear this. That's all I was worried about. I was like, I love Jessica Biel.
Yeah, she seems great. Yeah, wait, what was I saying?
You were talking about how all country music is bad and the people who like country music are bad people.
Okay. No, I'm pretty
sure is what you were saying.
No, it's just not I really don't know where I was going. Fuck. But
well, you like your own music. You like to go out. Like you can always make a fun night with the people you love.
Of course.
I feel like if we went to the Stampede together, we could have a good time.
I would love to go with you. And I'm sure that I just like went and there's so many other things other than country music going on. I think it's just not something that I've ever been drawn to. Oh yeah, what I was going to say, after the Justin Timberlake show in Toronto, you didn't come out with us, but we went out to a bar on King Street. That's
Texas. I know. Yeah. I know.
And I was like, why are we here? But anyways, we went and it was like fun, but it's a country bar on King Street.
Filled with 21-year-olds.
19-year-olds.
There's they're literal.
They were 19.
Children everywhere making out. And you're like...
Yeah.
And I only know this because we were there the week before as well.
Oh my God, why?
Because Hersey brought us there the week before.
Hersey, get out of Paris, Texas. And all the boys have that like fluffy curly hair that sits right on top of their heads. And it's an interesting vibe. But every song that they were playing was like all new country. Every kid in this place knew every single word. And I was like, wow, I'm just so not a part of this culture. And I'm just not. I never have been. Dylan knew every word. Like, it was fun. We had a blast. It's just not something that I connect with. Is that fair enough?
Of course it's fair enough.
I'm not trying to be mean.
You're not being mean at all. I think I was just teeing you up for like a really simple, the Calgary Stampede was pretty fun. and instead you were like, no, I got to be real with you for a second.
Well, I do. I'm going to always be real.
You are. And the thing is, a lot of the Letterkenny audience likes country, obviously, because of what the show's content is about.
You know who else doesn't like country music?
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Okay,
You can't say it. If you say it, our podcast is going to get canceled.
Well, I would just say
he's going to call us and he's going to be furious.
Okay, well.
Don't say it.
Okay, I'm not saying it.
To.
I'll say, okay, we'll say it
in the
finale. We'll say it in the finale.
Like episode 80?
Yeah, we'll say, well, because it actually does come up in the season finale.
Oh, yeah.
Art imitates life. My love.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
What, dude?
Way, brother.
Holy shit, dude.
Holy shit, dude.
Anyways, I feel bad now.
At a loss for words. No, you genuinely shouldn't feel bad. I think everyone here knows that just because we don't necessarily love the exact same thing you love doesn't mean that we think the thing you love is stupid or that you shouldn't love it.
Like I said, there's so many incredible country music artists, and I've heard some great songs, and none
of them are going to come on our show now, but that's okay.
I have respect for the genre. It's just, again, it's not something that I choose to put on, and then that's the end of it. But yeah, I think I also just like there's an oversaturation of this pop country of these like kind of bro-y guys being like singing, and I'm like, this is not. So I just maybe I need an education actually when I really think about it. My favorite thing about
this is you continually going, you know what? And that's all I have to say about country. But one more thing about how fucking stupid country music is in particular.
I really put my foot in it.
You do need a bit of an education though. I'll send you just a short playlist of songs to listen to a couple times, just a short one, because there are certain modern country songs that are fun. There are obviously other ones where you're like, God, I can't believe this is one of the popular songs. Like this is brutal and so like overtly racist. Like there's certain songs where you're like, this is crazy. Like there's that one song that was pretty popular recently, which is like, it's like small. It's like that's not what happens around these parts. Like that's not how you act around here. Or like round these, and it's like the specificity of the way it's written is like that Key and Peele sketch where he's singing the song that keeps getting progressively more and more racist until it's just it's pretty wild. Like some of it is so obviously not rooted in maybe the right kind of sentiment, but then other stuff, it's always fun to hear about someone drinking rock gut whiskey. It sounds really real. Rock gut whiskey,
I guess.
No, you don't like that. Okay.
I don't think I'll like it. But you know what? Different strokes
different
for
folks.
Different folks. Yeah.
I'm not a big country music guy either. I just like what I like. And then sometimes I get into different. Yeah. I just want you to know that. I'm not like Dylan. I don't know all the words.
Yeah, you're not a super fan. Well, send me some of your favorites and then I'll listen this week. I'll do a bit of homework and then I'll see where we're
going to come back next week and be like, I hate this even more. Evan, you're an idiot. We're done this podcast.
I'm leaving the show. No, I doubt it. But I do know that I love you and that
I love you too.
I'm having a great time and that I am so thankful for all of our lovely listeners. We're participating, writing in, like, oh my God, Sam, who just absolutely bared her heart and soul. That was a really vulnerable question. So
it was an amazing question. We have been so grateful for the reception that the podcast has gotten and the questions that are coming in and everything. Like you guys are so vocal and thank you for letting other people know that the podcast is like, I'm seeing people post on like the Letterkenny Facebook being like, have you guys not heard that Roald and Katy are doing a podcast? Like people are like putting us out there.
That's cute.
On their own. Like they're making these like, they're letting people know, which is so, it warms my heart. Cause so like, wholesome. Yeah, it's so wholesome. It's such a wholesome crowd, the Letterkenny fans. So
yeah,
thanks
really
guys.
Is.
We feel it. We
do feel it. All right. Well, I'm going to go drink some more lemonade and raspberry bubbly water.
I'm going to make a hot chocolate.
Make a hot chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take a load off. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and I'll see you next week.
Yeah. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.